Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Joey Harris, and we are broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. You can follow the show on Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. If you would like to support the show, and folks, there's no amount that is too small and no amount that is too large. You can do that at paypal.me/cupofjoepod. You can also Venmo or Cash App me at the Joey Harris. And folks, still trying to get ahead because of the busy summer and plans that I have coming up. So doing a bunch of recordings this week and next week. My weekend, I only drove 300 miles on Saturday. So it was like taking a day off compared to the week before. But just going to be more and more of that. I've got an 18-hour drive planned for 2 different days in July. 18 hours to Maine and 18 hours back from Maine. 2 different days in July. So that'll be interesting. But today we look at BattleBowl 93 from WCW. BattleBowl 93 was shown on pay-per-view on November the 20th, 1993 from the Pensacola Civic Center in Pensacola, Florida. There were 7,000 in attendance. We start out with our intro. Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura welcome us to BattleBowl and talk about the event. They throw it to Mean Gene Okerlund and Fifi, who are going to draw the names. Cactus Jack and Vader with Harley Race versus Kane and Charlie Norris. They draw Cole's name out, but Kane is the one who wrestles. Cactus and Vader battle out on the ramp. Race is trying to separate them. Kane out and helping Vader. All 4 men out. Norris thrown off the ramp by Vader. Kane beating Cactus Jack down in the corner. Race out and trying to convince Vader that he has to get along with Cactus Jack. Jack throws Kane out and Vader hits him. Kane scoop slams Jack and Norris tagged in. Jack gets Norris into the corner and Vader tagged in. Vader with a short arm clothesline and a slam. Vader hits a Vader bomb. He throws Norris out. Jack drops an elbow from the apron as Vader holds Norris. Vader with a double clap to Norris back in the ring. Jack tagged in. He drops a leg and gets a 2 count. Jack with a suplex and cover, but Kane breaks up the pin. Vader and Kane start to brawl. Kane tagged in. He gets Cactus Jack down. Norris tagged in and hits a suplex and a big foot. Jack tossed out and Kane throws him into the barricade. Norris with a nerve hold. Vader breaks up the hold. Kane tagged in and Cactus Jack hits the double arm DDT. Vader and Norris tagged in. Vader hits a big splash on Norris. Vader hits a powerbomb and gets the pin. Tony and Jesse talk about Vader and Cactus Jack making it to the finals. Paul Roma and Eric Watts versus Johnny B. Bad and Brian Knobbs with Missy Hyatt. I want you to know, folks, I dropped my pin when Missy came out. She's all the way live. Roma and Bad start. They circle each other, lock up and drive to the ropes. They break clean. Bad with a side headlock. Back to the ropes and break. Bad back to the side headlock into an arm drag. Bad with an arm bar. Roma gets out. Bad with another arm drag into the arm bar again. Knobbs tagged in. He hits Roma with a clothesline. Roma comes back with shots. Roma with a scoop slam. Watts tagged in and hits a knee lift to Knobbs. He drop kicks Knobbs out. Bad tagged in. He gets a hammerlock on. Watts reverses it. Back and forth. Bad with a roll up for a 2 count. Watts with an arm bar. Roma tagged in and hits a top rope chop. Roma with a hammerlock. Watts tagged in and hits a double axe handle. Watts misses a corner charge. Bad tags Knobbs in. Knobbs with a corner whip and a clothesline. Watts hits a couple of arm drags. Watts with a side headlock. Bad comes back with a drop toe hold. Watts reverses into a hammerlock. Roma tagged in and gets a power slam, but Hyatt has referee Nick Patrick distracted. Bad with a side headlock takeover. Roma with the reversal. Knobbs trips Roma. Knobbs tagged in. He throws Roma out. Watts checks on Roma. Knobbs attacks Roma. Knobbs with a suplex for a 2 count. Knobbs with an abdominal stretch. Bad tagged in and gets a side headlock. Roma pushes off. Double shoulder block and both men are down. Knobbs tagged in. Knobbs with a scoop slam. Roma gets a foot up on a splash attempt. Roma hits an enziguri to get away from Knobbs. Watts tagged in. He gets Knobbs down with a slam. He runs Knobbs repeatedly into a turnbuckle. Knobbs reverses a corner whip. Watts comes back with a flying body press. Knobbs rolls through and gets the pin with a handful of tights. The Shockmaster and Paul Orndorff versus Ricky Steamboat and Steven Regal. Orndorff and Steamboat start. Apollo chant goes out. Steamboat with a side headlock takeover. Orndorff up. Steamboat with a shoulder block. Orndorff throws Steamboat out. Steamboat skins the cat and catches Orndorff with his leg and head scissors Orndorff out. Back and forth. Steamboat with a rear chin lock. Orndorff gets out. Steamboat goes back to the side headlock takeover. Orndorff up and battles Steamboat in the corner. Orndorff out and both men collide and are down. Regal and Shockmaster tagged in. Shockmaster shoves Regal off. Regal with a side headlock. Shockmaster with a wrist lock. Regal with a European uppercut. Shockmaster with a big slam. Orndorff tagged in. Both sets of partners arguing. Regal with a side headlock into a takeover. Orndorff gets to his feet. Orndorff with a back slide for a 2 count. Regal with a full Nelson. Orndorff reverses. Good chain wrestling. Steamboat tagged in. They trade moves and Steamboat guillotined on the top rope. Orndorff drops knees on Steamboat. Orndorff with a side slam. Shockmaster tagged in. He misses an elbow. Regal tagged in and doesn't want to get in. Shockmaster throws Regal in. Shockmaster misses a corner splash and Regal gets a 2 count. Regal rolls away as Orndorff had come in to break up the pin and drops an elbow on Shockmaster. They argue and Regal gets Sir William's umbrella. Steamboat grabs it and both sets of partners are now arguing. Steamboat hits Regal with the umbrella. Shockmaster with a splash to get the pin. Starrcade 93 ad. They go to what happened when the Starrcade venue of Charlotte was announced. Vader gets interrupted by Ric Flair, who challenges Vader. Vader tells him to bring it on as Flair puts his career on the line. Awesome Kong and the Equalizer versus King Kong and Dustin Rhodes. Rhodes and the Equalizer start. Rhodes with a waist lock into a hammer lock. Equalizer gets out and Rhodes with a drop toe hold into an armbar. Back and forth. Awesome Kong tagged in. Rhodes tries to knock Awesome Kong down. He hits a drop kick and gets a roll up for a 2 count. Awesome Kong comes back with some shots and King Kong tagged in. The Kongs start to face each other and King Kong immediately tags Rhodes back in. Back and forth. Equalizer tagged in and Rhodes hits an arm drag into an armbar. King Kong tagged in. King Kong with an Irish whip and a clothesline. Equalizer comes back with a clothesline of his own. Equalizer beating King Kong down in the corner. King Kong trying to fight out. King Kong reverses a corner whip, but runs into an Equalizer big boot. Equalizer misses a leg drop. Rhodes and Awesome Kong both tagged in. Rhodes with a series of moves to get a 2 count. Rhodes with a sunset flip for a 2 count and all 4 men in the ring now. In the confusion, Rhodes hits a bulldog to get the pin on Awesome Kong. Sting and Jerry Sags with Missy Hyatt versus Ron Simmons and Keith Cole. Simmons and Sags start. Sags rolls outside and screams at Sting to have his back. Simmons and Sags lock up and drive to a corner. Sags runs Simmons into a corner. Back and forth. Simmons with a drop kick. Simmons with a series of moves to Sags, including a big shoulder block. Cole tagged in and gets Sags down. He gets an armbar. Sags with a scoop slam, but Cole holds on to the armbar. The crowd chants, "We want Sting." Sags gets out and hits a clothesline. Sags beating Cole down in the corner. Cole comes back with an arm drag into an armbar. Simmons tagged in and gets a 2 count. Sting tagged in. He and Simmons lock up. Clean break. Simmons with a side headlock. Sting pushes off and Simmons hits a pair of shoulder blocks. He gets a 2 count. Another lock up and clean break. Sting with a go behind for a 2 count. Sting with a pair of shoulder blocks. Simmons with a drop toe hold. Cole tagged in. Cole with an arm drag. Sting with a backslide for a 2 count. Sags tagged in and gets caught with an arm drag. Back and forth. Sags with a snapmare. He kicks and drops elbows on Cole. Sting tagged in. Simmons tagged in. Simmons with an Irish whip and Sting comes back with a body press on the clothesline. Lock up and drive to the ropes. Break clean. Simmons then stomps Sting down. Simmons choking Sting on the top rope. Simmons kicks Sting. He gets Sting down and Cole tagged in. Cole with an armbar. Into a wrist lock. Simmons tagged back in. He catapults Sting into the bottom rope. Cole tagged back in. Cole with the wrist lock again. Sting comes back with a backdrop and a flurry of offense on Cole. Sting with a suplex. Sting hits the Stinger Splash, and Sags tags himself in and hits a top rope elbow drop to get the pin. Simmons attacks Cole after the match. Tony and Jesse talk about the men who have reached BattleBowl. Steve Austin and Ric Flair with Colonel Robert Parker versus Max Payne and Too Cold Scorpio. Flair comes out looking determined and gets a great ovation. Austin and Payne start. Austin with a waist lock. He can't get Payne down and Flair mocks Austin on the apron. Payne with a go behind. Payne with a side headlock. He gets a pair of shoulder blocks. Payne with a choke slam. Scorpio tagged in. Austin pounds on Scorpio. Back and forth. They're going at it heavy. Flair tagged in and gets a drop toe hold. They trade moves. They both go for backslides. Both back to their feet. Scorpio with a side headlock. Flair pushes off. Scorpio with a shoulder block. Payne tagged in. Flair goes up top, but gets caught, so take a shot if you're drinking at home. Payne misses an elbow drop, and Austin tagged in. Payne with a backdrop and Scorpio tagged in. Austin bails out to regroup with Parker. Flair tagged in and chopped Scorpio in the corner. Scorpio with a corner whip and splash. He follows it up with a suplex for a 2 count. He gets a roll up for another 2 count. Flair comes back with a chop and a backdrop. Austin tagged in. Scorpio with a roll up for a 2 count. Scorpio with a back thrust kick, and he goes up top. He gets caught. Austin hits a suplex and gets a 2 count. Austin with a backbreaker. He then chokes Scorpio with his boot. Flair tagged in. He drops a knee on Scorpio for a 2 count. Flair with a belly to back. Suplex for a 2 count. Austin tagged in and gets a backdrop. Austin with an abdominal stretch. Austin pulls the ropes for leverage, and he and Flair get into it. Flair tagged in and starts chopping Scorpio. Flair covers, but Payne makes the save. Austin tagged in and hits a splash from the top rope, but Payne makes the save again. Austin with a snapmare. Scorpio and Austin trade shots. Austin ran into a ring post. Scorpio with a spin kick. Both men down. Flair and Payne both tagged in. Back and forth. Payne unloading on Flair. Payne misses a high knee in the corner when Flair moves. Flair puts the figure 4 on, and Payne gives up. Rick Rude and Shanghai Pierce versus Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Tex Slazenger. Slazenger upset that he has to fight Pierce. Rude and Bagwell start. They lock up. Rude pushes Bagwell down. Another lock up and push off. Rude with forearm shots and a suplex. Bagwell comes back with a drop toe hold. Slazenger tagged in and gets a wrist lock. Pierce tagged in. Rude yells at Pierce to beat Slazenger's ass. Pierce tags Rude back in and yells, "That's my partner," when Rude asks why. Slazenger attacks Rude with shots and a headbutt. He hits a backdrop and tags Bagwell in. Bagwell attacks the arm of Rude. Pierce tagged in and it's a snapmare. Bagwell with a corner whip, but Pierce hits a back elbow to Bagwell for the charge. Back and forth. Bagwell with a slam and a splash for a 2 count. Bagwell with an armbar. Pierce with a drop toe hold. Bagwell reverses the arm into a hammerlock. Pierce gets to the ropes to break and briefly rolls out to regroup. Rude tagged in. Rude with shoulders to Bagwell in the corner. Rude attacks Bagwell with stiff shots. Pierce tagged in. Back and forth. Bagwell with a headlock. Bagwell with a drop toe hold and a suplex. Rude pulls the rope down and Bagwell spills out to the floor while referee Randy Anderson was tied up talking to Slazenger. Jesse throws shade at Vince McMahon being indicted on commentary. Jesse has no chill. Bagwell ran into the apron. Pierce keeps up the attack on the outside. Bagwell thrown back in and Rude tagged in. Rude with a facebuster to Bagwell. Inverted backbreaker by Rude. Pierce tagged in. He slams Bagwell and gets a 2 count. Bagwell ran into Rude's boot and Rude tagged in. Rude chokes Bagwell in the corner. Rude with a bear hug. Bagwell trying to get to the corner. He tags Slazenger, but the referee doesn't see it. Pierce tagged in and Bagwell is in the wrong corner. Pierce with a rear chin lock. Bagwell trying to get out. Bagwell gets out, but runs into a big boot by Pierce. Pierce with a gut-wrench powerbomb. Slazenger breaks up the pin attempt. Pierce yells at Slazenger, who gets tagged in. The two partners trade shots. Slazenger with an Irish whip and a clothesline. Rude tagged in and hits a rude awakening to get the pin. Slazenger and Pierce make up after the match. Hawk and Rip Rogers versus Davey Boy Smith and Cole. Rogers is excited to be chosen and Hawk hits him on the ramp. Smith kicks Rogers as Smith was coming to the ring. Cole attacks Rogers as well. Poor Rip. An LOD chant goes out. Hawk and Smith start. They lock up and push off a couple of times. They drive to a corner and break. Test of strength. It is even and they break. Cole tagged in. He circles around Hawk and attacks Hawk. Back and forth. Cole with a rear chin lock. Hawk comes back with chops. Cole does the spin-a-rooney and clotheslines Hawk. He beats on Hawk as Rogers is still trying to make it to the ring. Smith leads an LOD chant and Jesse is going off on him for it. Hawk gets guillotined. Cole with a top rope forearm. Cole hits Rogers every time he gets to the apron to knock him back to the ramp. Cole with another rear chin lock. The LOD chant goes out again. Hawk comes back with a clothesline. Cole with the backbreaker. Hawk counters with a clothesline. Hawk throws Rogers on Cole to get the pin. Rip Rogers is going to BattleBowl. Mean Gene and Fifi talk about BattleBowl. Jesse says either the Nasty Boys or Vader are the favorites. They have someone dubbed what is supposed to sound like Michael Buffer for some reason. BattleBowl. Cactus Jack, Vader, Johnny B. Bad, Brian Knobbs, The Shockmaster, Paul Orndorff, King Kong, Dustin Rhodes, Sting, Jerry Sags, Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Rick Rude, Shanghai Pierce, Hawk, and Rip Rogers are your participants. Rogers staggers to the ring. He struggles to get in as BattleBowl begins. Forearms fly. They roughly pair off. Rogers eliminated. Pierce eliminated. Flair and Austin fight to the outside but don't go over the ropes, so they are still legal. Bad eliminated. Cactus Jack tries to superplex Vader, but Vader tosses Jack to the mat. Cactus Jack eliminated. Orndorff eliminated. Shockmaster and King Kong both spilled out. Vader dumps Sting to the ramp, but it has to be to the floor to be eliminated. Race complains to Jesse that Sting should be eliminated, and Jesse says no. Flair goes out after Race. He gets back in and Vader attacks him. Rhodes and Austin both threw the ropes to fight on the outside. Rhodes ran into the ring post and is bleeding heavily. Sags eliminated. Knobbs and Rhodes eliminated. Rude and Hawk were then eliminated. Austin, Vader, Flair, and Sting are your final four. Vader misses a corner splash when Flair moves. Race drags Flair to the ramp and they start brawling. Flair suplexes Race on the ramp. Vader attacks Flair. Vader splashes Flair on the ramp. Sting comes out to help Flair. All four battle on the ramp. Medics out to check on Flair. They bring out a stretcher for Flair. They load Flair on the stretcher and announce that he can't continue. Race tries to turn the stretcher over. Vader and Austin throw Sting into the ring. They both go up top. Austin comes off and Sting gets his boot up. Sting power slams Vader as he comes off. Sting cleans house. The crowd starts the "Whoop, there it is" chant. Double team to Sting. Austin drops a knee on Sting. Austin and Vader bat Sting back and forth with punches. Vader splashes Sting multiple times. He misses a third splash attempt. Sting coming back. Austin drops a knee on Sting. Vader bombed to Sting, but Vader hurts his back. Austin misses a knee drop. Vader splashes Austin in the corner when Sting moves. Sting and Austin dump to the ramp. Austin falls off the ramp to the floor. Vader attacks Sting. Vader misses the clothesline, and Sting knocks him down. Both men down. Sting picks Vader up and tries to eliminate him. He goes to Stinger Splash Vader, but Vader moves and Sting eliminates himself. Vader is the BattleBowl winner. Vader and Ray celebrate as they sign off from Pensacola. Final thoughts. Okay show, no highlights, but a good way to waste a few hours. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoeyHarris. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast app. I would really appreciate it. We can also be found on Spotify and YouTube. Just search for The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show and don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.